Welcome everyone to today's Tanya Shiur. Today is Chav Vav ניסן, the 26th of ניסן, and we are holding in middle of Perek Mem Beis, chapter 42. So yesterday, for those of you who learned yesterday's Tanya, the Alter Rebbe ended off by saying that Hashem knows everything, right, and is everywhere, and therefore when a person contemplates and thinks about the idea that Hashem is everywhere and watches all his actions, he will have a fear of Hashem, and he won't want to do an Avera, and he'll have a love for Hashem as well. So the Alter Rebbe ended up saying, look at three things and you will not come to do an Avera. What are those things? Ayin Rav, Oizen Shemas, V'chol Ma'asecha B'Sefer Nichtavim. There's an eye that sees, an ear that hears, and everything that you do is written down in a sefer, in a book. So now the Alter Rebbe is going to ask, starting right now, now, although Hashem does not have the physical appearance of a body, right, like a physical goof, so how can we say that he has an ear that hears and an eye that sees? On the contrary, so we say on the contrary, you're right, Hashem does not have an eye that sees and an ear that hears, but his seeing is a seeing that isn't limited by a human seeing. What does that mean? That by a human, when I see something, I only see what's in front of me, and I can only see when there's enough light, and I can only see for a certain distance. But Hashem could see everything in the entire world, and he can hear. He isn't limited by only hearing what's next to him and what's loud enough for him to hear. He can hear everything. So we say, so we say we only gave it a mashal, like compared it to a person's hearing and seeing. Why? Just like a person, he's able to feel anything that happens to any of his limbs. When he gets a cut, when he gets a splinter, when he gets a bruise, he's able to feel everything. Like heat and cold, right? And the Alter Rebbe says, even to the extent, even if there's heat in his toenails, if someone puts a flame to his toenail, he will feel the heat. Right? If it's scorched by fire, he will feel the heat in his toenail. And also their essence, a person feels the etzem of their limbs. They feel that they have an arm, they feel that they have a head, a nose. They can feel everything. So, not necessarily does it mean that 24/7 you're feeling your nose, right? Right now, if I ask you, do you feel your nose? You're going to tell me no. But if someone pinches your nose, you're going to feel it, right? Or if you have a cut on your nose, you're going to feel it. And where will you feel? You feel it b'meichei. You'll feel it in your brain. And the same way we know exactly what goes on with our body, so too Hashem knows everything that goes on in the world, all the creations, the higher worlds and the lower worlds. Why? Because everything comes from Hashem. So just like our body is all part of us, so we feel it, so too Hashem feels and understands and knows everything that goes on in his world, which is like his body. And this is what we say, and this is what it means, no creature is hidden from you. What does that mean? That since you know and feel everything that happens in this world, you know about. Like the Rambam says, and the Chachamei Kabbalah, the Kabbalists, they agreed with the Rambam. And what did he say? That by Hashem knowing himself, by Hashem just knowing himself, he already knows anything that comes from himself, which is all the creatures, any creation, all the actions. But right? So in the end of the day, you can't compare the way the body knows every feeling in the body and the way Hashem knows his world. Why? Because the difference by a body is that the soul, right? What's the real thing that's feeling the pain when a person gets a cut? His soul is feeling the pain, right? The life force in his body feels the pain. So if the neshama didn't come into the person yet and the person wasn't created, the soul cannot feel the pain. Only once it's in the body, now it's mislabish, it's enclosed within the body, then it can feel the pain. But by Hashem, even before he encloses himself into anything, he's always going to feel what goes on in his creations, in his world. So we say the reasons we brought the analogy of a body, rak shemashal zeh eini el l'shakechas eisen. It's only to, literally means to calm the ear, which means like people, human beings, right? What do we relate to? The way a human being lives. So we can understand like Hashem's hearing, our hearing, we could listen, Hashem could listen. So that's how it makes sense for a human to understand it. That's why we brought that mashal. But in truth, ein ha-mashal deim le-nimshal klal. The mashal is not comparable to the nimshal at all whatsoever. Why? Ki nefesh adam afilo sichlis velakis. Because the nefesh, the soul of a person, even the sichlis, the intellect part of the soul, he misbalas mim oire aguf v'tzari machmas v'sabshus mamish b'nefesh achayunis hamulabashes b'guf mamish. When the soul is in the body and something happens to the body, the soul gets affected. Why? Because the soul isn't clothed within the body, and the body gets a cut, or the body gets pleasure. The soul also gets pleasure or gets affected some way. But Hashem is different. Hashem does not get affected at all from the events that happen in the world, and the very existence of the world itself does not change Hashem. What does that mean? It means before the world was created, Hashem was one. Now that the world is created, Hashem is one as well. And even in the future, Hashem will always be the same. The creation of the world did not change Hashem's existence. Shekulam einam nispalim by einam pailim by shum shinai does not change Hashem at all. Chas v'shalim does not affect him at all. In order to understand this properly, if you really want to understand this properly, the Alter Rebbe says you can. He refers to the Sifrei Kabbalah. They explain it there very, very well, and in a longer version, they explain it very well. Kol Yisrael ma'aminim b'nei ma'aminim. However, all Jews are ma'aminim b'nei ma'aminim. What are they big believers of? B'li shum chakira seichel anoshi, without any, without the intervention of seichel anoshi, without the intervention of your brain. When they say, we say in davening every day, you were the same Hashem before you created the world, right? And we continue saying that also after you created the world, you are the same. So, Kanal, Parak Chaf, like we'll explain later in Parak Chaf. Sorry, like we explained already in Parak Chaf. So, in short, in summary of today's Tanya, we brought a mashal yesterday about Hashem hearing and seeing everything we do. We asked the question, how could Hashem hear and see if it doesn't have physical senses like we do? And we answered that it's just to calm the ear, not just in order for us to understand how Hashem sees and hears things, we have to give a mashal of physically hearing and speaking. But Hashem is not limited to just hearing and seeing what is in front of him, but rather can hear everything that goes on, like the person's body, that his soul feels everything in his entire body, even to the lowest part of his toenails. So too, Hashem feels and understands and knows everything which goes on in the world, because he is the creator of the world. Thank you for joining today's Tanya Shiur.